Next up, at UFC Vegas 93, we have another fight that a lot of people are split on. We have Lucas Almeida taking on Timmy Cuamba. Timmy Cuamba, 8-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a loss in his short notice UFC debut, taking on Lucas Almeida, 14-3 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses. We have a very wide line on this fight, considering the public seems to think that Lucas Almeida is going to win this fight. Lucas Almeida is a powerful striker. He loves throwing big, heavy 1-2s. He comes forward. He sets up that big right hand. When he senses blood, he will literally drop his hands, march forward, and throw whatever he needs to try to get that finish. He is aware enough to know that he is a striker and not a grappler, so much so that if a fight ends up on the ground, if he sneezes too hard and they fall on the ground, he will literally just stand, get the hell out of there. I want nothing to do with this. I'm not going to engage in that. I'm a striker, and that's where I want to be. His takedown defense is not very good at 40%. It is the largest hole in his game, and he is coming off that loss to Andre Fili. Taking on Timmy Cuamba. This guy's a striker as well. He's got good takedown defense, fast hands, decent power for the weight class. He does a great job working the body with an early investment, hoping for a late payoff. He's very technical. He is not gun shy, but I wouldn't call him a killer. He seems to take his time. He seems to do what he's supposed to do, but doesn't really hunt for the finish. He's got some takedowns, but they don't look very comfortable. His control is almost non-existent. He's coming off that very short notice fight to Balajioki, where he looked accurate and sharp, and he did show some toughness. And we've got a pretty big favorite here, almost 2-1 on the Cuamba side. And I think that's just a lot of recency bias. He looked good in a short notice loss up in weight, while Lucas is riding back-to-back losses. And if Cuamba was a big-time wrestler, that would make sense to me. I would understand the line gap, but this is a striker versus striker matchup. Lucas has a much deeper resume, fighting the higher level of competition, and I'm going Lucas here. I think Lucas hits a little harder. I think he's going to be the guy that's going to move forward. I think he's the one that's going to be looking for a finish, and he certainly has been in tougher fights previously. I think Cuamba's way more accurate. And that might be a problem here, but I'm going to go the Lucas Almeida side. I think he's a guy that, as long as his chin holds up, he can take over and win this fight. This should be a really fun fight. What do you think, Jakey Bombalotes?
Yeah, this should be an interesting one. I like Timmy here. I think he's just the more technical dude. I can't remember the odds, but I think he was supposed to get kind of rolled by Oki, and he was definitely getting beat up by that jab. But other than that, I mean, he definitely held his own. I mean, that was a split decision loss there. I think that he could mix in a takedown or two against a guy that is pretty susceptible to being taken down and can't control, might play the jiu-jitsu game a little bit too much. But it probably is going to be a pins and needles situation, because Lucas is definitely the more dangerous guy. And Timmy, isn't he's probably the more technical guy, and he's does what he needs to do, but he's not crazy lightning fast. He definitely gets hit, and he's definitely going to kind of be standing in front of Lucas. So I'm going Timmy here, but I could see the Lucas side.
You're $8,800 in DraftKings, Timmy?
Probably not.
Probably not indeed. I do think whoever wins this fight far more than covers that, though. If Timmy wins, it's because Lucas's chin didn't hold up. If Lucas wins, he just dog-walked a much younger, less experienced Timmy Cuamba. I am going to be on the Lucas side. You need underdogs in your DraftKings lineup, and I might shoot my shot on Lucas Almeida. I'm not sure about a bet, plus 165. Great odds there, but I'll have to look a little closer. If you do want to check out the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the DraftKings optimizer, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It is only $10 for an entire month. Jakey boy, we are flying through this card. But before we go to the main event, Crayons Nation just want to let you know, what's up, Jacob? I love cigarettes. Look at you.
I think
got a whole new generation addicted to smoking.
I think you're in two.
What?
I was going to say something, but it sounded like you were going to say something.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think in 2 weeks, you'll probably be smoking cigarettes on the strip.
Me? Never. I told you, the one and only time I ever tried to smoke a cigarette was because the hottest girl in school, the coolest girl in school, was outside in the front in high school smoking a cigarette. She's like, "You want one?" I was like, "I sure do." And I thought I was so cool, and I grabbed it, and I tried to light it like this, like not in my mouth. Just tried to light it like it was a match. like not sucking in. And she just laughed at me, grabbed it, lit it, and then gave it to me. And then we ended up dating. I mean, I don't know if that's what did it, but you know.
The best one, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. You're standing outside of a bar and you smoked half a cigarette and realize you've been smoking the filter.
Just the wrong side of it. Just breathe it in the wrong side. It's just that. I grew up in a smoke. My mom's an immigrant. I grew up in a smoking house, and back in the 90s, you know, it wasn't. You knew smoking was bad, but it wasn't like what it is now. Like my kids almost don't know what cigarette smoke smells like. Like if they walk out around, they smell it. Like what is that? Like you know, it's very rare that we'll catch somebody smoking. But the more I think about it, we would just be in my mom's car, her Dodge Avenger, while she's just ripping butts, and then drops us off at school. I must have fucking stunk, dude. Just elementary school, just reeking of an ashtray.
Anytime I rolled around my grandfather, it was windows up, Camel non-filters, what he smoked.
Yeah, just
every time he took me
fuck.
to golf, because he took me all my golf lessons and we played golf all the time, but he would just chain smoke Camel non-filters in a little Ford Fiesta, windows up. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, my mom would only do windows up if it was raining, and it just stunk. And what's funny is like, because I grew up with that smell. Like later in life, not now. Now it's like ugh. But like later in life, it was almost nostalgic to get into somebody's car and like, oh, they smoke in this car. Oh, that reminds me of my mom's car in elementary school when I would get dropped off just stinking.
Yeah, I remember the first time I kissed a girl that smoked. Ugh.
It is gross. It is gross. But it's like a slutty vibe though. You're like, yeah. The good ones didn't smoke, Jakey boy. The good ones didn't smoke.